In the wake of Putin declaring war on Ukraine, I have been feeling so many different things. It has kept me up over the last few nights, getting very little sleep. So many things are running through my mind, just like probably everyone else. Wondering if this could be World War III. How far will his aggression go? Does he mean what he says when he intimates that the world better not interfere with his invasion, or else the world will pay dire consequences? Will he begin a nuclear war? I by no means feel safe because of geography. I feel just as vulnerable as anyone else in the world because of his volatility. Even more so, I'm disgusted with the racism that Africans have to endure while trying to escape a war waged in a country that they traveled to in order to study. The fact that whoever is at the border are under siege, have the nerve to be racist and discriminatory and further marginalize Blacks and Africans during such a critical time, a crisis of this scale, when missiles are dropping in their backyard, takes such hubris, such arrogance. I mean, it's astonishing to me. It's disgusting and it's inhumane. And no leader, African, European, American, has stepped in to advocate for them. This is a failure of policy and government on so many levels. So as you could see, this topic is very complex, but with so much uncertainty, it's really scary for all of us. And there are even rumors of hackers taking advantage of the situation to destabilize nations because we're all so scrambled and not knowing what to do. So there's a lot out of our control, but that we see and we feel helpless. But the little that we can control, I decided to come on here and provide some insights to you if you're running a business, how to protect your business from possible hacking, because this is the era of hacking. And if there's a world after this and we don't all get blown away into smithereens, there's likely to be even more data breaches for many businesses, big and small. So don't think, oh, my business is small, no one really cares about it. No, that's not the position I would take. If you're curious, this is the Legal Code, and on this channel we discuss a wide range of legal topics, whether that's to help your small business grow, legal faux pas, lessons we can learn from a TV series, of course, celebrity shenanigans, and also serious topics such as war. In this video, we will discuss how to navigate the possible cyber war that may affect many businesses in the state, that may result and impact your business in a very harmful way. If you find value in this sort of content, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and of course share with anyone to whom you think will find value as well. So in my most recent video, I explained the importance of business insurance, and I touched upon cyber insurance if your business relies on the internet to operate, especially if your business accepts payments from its customers or stores customers' information such as addresses, phone numbers, emails. So cyber insurance, as I explained, mitigates the effect of an attack once it has happened, because it's almost inevitable that it will happen. That's the season we're in, folks. So it can happen to your site, to your payment system, it doesn't even matter. But cyber insurance is a system in place that helps you navigate the cyber crisis once it has happened. It covers the cost of claims associated with stolen customer data, cyber attacks, breaches, and fraud. Cyber attacks often require a number of responses from different fronts, which can be expensive, time-consuming for business owners, as well as overwhelming and frustrating because most business owners may not have the technological skill to weather the storm. For example, a small business owner may be responsible for finding and fixing the breach in the network or wherever it occurred, Also sending out mass notification to customers who may have been affected, as well as providing credit monitoring system to affected customers. And in many instances, there are claims which can be very expensive. For instance, just figuring out how a cyber attack happened through an investigation could cost the business tens of thousands of dollars, as well as the effort to notify customers could also be another few $1,000s. So as you can see, this is a very expensive endeavor for a business to handle. Also, not to mention the nightmare of ransomware, where hackers require extortion payments in order for you to regain control of your information and computer system. What the hackers will do is overwhelm your system with too much traffic, which can shut down your machine systems and affect your ability to conduct business and earn money. So it's a nightmare for business owners. That's why cyber insurance is in place to tell the business owner, we're going to do this, this, and this. You just have to provide this information. So it's such a help because it's a guide for business owners through a crisis. And in a crisis, we all need guidance. So many business owners, if hacked, won't even know where to begin to take back their business and to get it up and running in a short period of time, which is why cyber insurance is so important, because it helps mobilize the business so it won't lose out on profits. We contrast cyber insurance with cyber security, which is pretty much the application of technologies and processes and controls to protect the whole system. It's surveillance and monitoring of your programs that you run and detects for unauthorized visitors. Just as important, but it's a two-front attack. So again, I'm not a technology person, but this is important to me. It's important to my clients. I have to know this so that I can inform clients about this topic, because also it's ripe with legal issues for your small business. Because if there's an attack, the impact on your business reputation, the currency is diminished of your business reputation, as well as the legal implications where your company is sued and you have to pay damages to the victims as well as fines. Also, this topic is extremely relevant considering the rumors of hackers taking advantage of the chaos of what we're going through in the world. So it would be wise to batten down the hatches and figure out what you need to do for your business in terms of protecting your internal systems and customer data. So we have to all be on the lookout for not only nuclear warfare, but also cyber warfare. This is the world we live in. So it is a mistake to believe that you are of no interest to cyber attackers. That's the number one mistake businesses make. Everyone is a target. Everyone who is connected to the internet needs to have some sort of control, some sort of cybersecurity. This is because most cyber attacks are automated and aim to exploit common vulnerabilities rather than a specific website or organization. So hackers are not like, oh, I want to target Macy's or I want to target this business. They are just combing through the dark net, looking for network vulnerabilities. They don't really care who they target unless they specifically want to undermine an organization. But many hackers don't operate with this agenda. They're just combing for any breaches, any areas that are weak. So just to mention some common cyber threats are malware or form jacking, but for all intents and purposes, no one really cares the name of it, because once it happens, it's a crisis. And us non-technical people, we won't know what to do with the information of what the name of the hacking system is anyway. We just want to know how to prevent it, and if it does happen, a solution. So I'll save you that. So here are the solutions. Network security first involves knowing your vulnerabilities affecting your operating systems, whether that's servers, hosts, firewalls, wireless access points, and network protocols. So you have to know where your vulnerabilities are. Once you address network security issues, then you want to look to amping up protocols to protect the information that's inside the business. So it's like a fence around a home. So To protect information, you want to amp up cloud security. So if you have information saved on the cloud, which most people do, you need to make sure there's some security in place. Now let's talk about securing the information. So information security. When hackers attack a business, when hackers target a business, rarely would you find that they are performing extremely complex or technical tasks. Instead, most cyber crimes rely on use of the vulnerabilities laid out by the business, such as weak passwords, readily available records, poor documentation, storage practices. So most hackers don't have to do much to find breaches in systems. They usually operate through a weak password. So how do you protect data? The one we all know, be aware of phishing scams. Those annoying emails that we get communicating regularly with your team about phishing attacks is critical. Most people in an organization learn from these mistakes, but it takes one compromised incident in order to put them on high alert. Have regular meetings with your team about phishing attacks, what they might look like, and how to protect and prepare a team in advance in case of a breach. Also, the obvious and the most simple is regularly check and change your passwords. Some companies do this every 3 to 4 months. Even though it seems very small and insignificant, regularly changing your passwords is one of the best lines of defense against hackers and bad actors looking to steal your information. Sounds very small, but it works. Also, a basic and simple method that many businesses neglect is to simply update their software. This can be your content management system platform, your cloud-based tool, or any program you use that requires software and technology companies are always adding security protocols in the new updates. But they won't work if you aren't updating consistently and when you get the notice to update. So updating your apps and tools is very important. Also, use different passwords for all accounts. I always tell clients, you cannot prevent a hack or cybersecurity attack. It will inevitably happen to you at some point. You can only defend against the damages by being one step ahead of the attackers. One way is to never use the same password for all of your devices and access points. That's one of the things. People are lazy. They just want to remember one password, but this is critical to always have different passwords for different devices. I'm probably guilty of it myself. From your computer password to your email password to your hosting website dashboard, make them all different. That way, if someone gets a hold of one phrase, they won't have access to your customer data or your banking information or whatever it may be. Then store these passwords in an encrypted password vault so the likelihood of a breach is reduced as much as possible. Also use multi-factor authentication. In other words, new sign-ins required on phone, email before account information is provided. This stops the hackers in his or her tracks. A castle is only as strong as the walls, and the same is true with your business ISP or your internet service provider. You may not think so, but the internet service providers are not all built the same. When choosing an internet provider, you shouldn't just be about speed and price. There are so many services out there on the market, so it is wise to do as much research as possible to look at their security measures as priority, and then speed and price secondary and tertiary. This is critical for companies collecting customer data. If customers' information is compromised in any way, the consequences can be catastrophic. So always ensure customer data is encrypted and financial data as well. And also outsource your business's commerce to sites like PayPal, Google Checkout, Stripe, Square is another one. With security breaches affecting businesses on a regular basis, it's important to distinguish between collecting the data that you need, such as addresses and names maybe, and the data that you don't need, such as stored credit card information and detail. Most companies don't need to store this information. Other than providing convenience to customers to repurchase, businesses don't have a real compelling reason to store that data, especially when the risks are so high and the consequences fall on the shoulders of the business owners. So best practices is creating a framework that allows third-party processors to handle credit card information. It's a lot safer. It is their priority to have the most stringent security procedures in place to store sensitive data, and so they have a lot of gatekeeping processes and are able to monitor it a lot better than a business can. So always use established payment gateways such as PayPal, Stripe, Square, whatever is your preference, and ensure that customers' credit card data is collected directly on the third-party site so that your own site is never handling the sensitive payment information. Use SSLs on your own site so that the connection between your site and the payment gateway is always encrypted at all times. And after you do all that I've just mentioned, I would also do an imagination exercise. Wake up one day and it's the worst day of your life. Your system has been hacked. All of your systems have been hacked and customer data has been compromised. What would you do then? How would you shut down the problem? How would you limit damages? Set up a plan to regularly test your cybersecurity system by doing this exercise, this imagination exercise. This could include you having to do spot checks on various programs or full-blown mock attacks to see how your system will handle it and whether you can survive. And if you have employees, how they will respond. Do they know how to respond to alert you to take the next step? Testing can highlight issues and weaknesses, which allows you to make changes and corrections before a real attack happens. It's a really good exercise. You can get into the practice of knowing what to do if a crisis hit. Because remember, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Because this has happened to countless companies already, big and small. So imagine the worst case scenario and work your way back from there to see what you would do. But you really don't have to even imagine, because there's been so many models for us in the media. I mean, companies big and small. And if it can happen to eBay and Sony PlayStation, it can happen to you. Also, look at the hack in April of 2021, which caused the gas shortages across the whole East Coast. And it was just a result of a single compromised password. Hackers gained access into the networks of Colonial Pipeline through a virtual private network account, which allowed employees to work remotely and have access to the server. The account was no longer in use at the time of the attack, but could still be used to access the Colonial's network. See, this is the example I used to show you that breaches are not even sophisticated. The account's password was just found on the dark web among a batch of other leaked passwords. And that's how they were able to gain access. So imagine where your vulnerabilities are in your security system and work from there. Test your system. Like I say, test it regularly. This is a dynamic issue that's constantly evolving. So don't think like, oh, once I figured it out that I can leave it alone. No, it's something you have to revisit consistently. It's part of your best practices for your business. Lastly, just because you've made a cybersecurity plan once does not mean you're done forever. Hackers and technology are constantly evolving, and your cybersecurity plan needs to be adequate and adapt to the changing time, because we're one step behind the hackers because we're responding. It's an ever evolving dynamic aspect of your business that you need to pay attention to. So update your software, your devices to the most current versions, regularly evaluate your approach to security, move to protect customer data, change passwords. You should always be on the lookout toward future and potential threats and adapt methods appropriately. So that is pretty much it. Hopefully the information has been helpful. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to drop a comment in the comment section, as well as if you have anything to share, your experience of hacking, what do you know about hacking, what do you foresee coming, anything that you want to share, drop it in the comment section. And of course, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And thanks again, and stay safe. And everyone, be kind to one another. The world needs it right now.